Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so Lakers play the Heat tonight in Miami, and the Miami Heat are a team that has had our number recently. In fact, last year, early in the season, we had the infamous missed Cam Reddish corner three game that I have forgotten, and we also lost to the Heat by double digits as well after that at home. So we owe the Heat. We are not uh, paying homage to LeBron's old team in the way that a Lakers supposed to, which is providing them losses. Uh, so that's the first thing that needs to be said. The Heat are a team that's won two of the last five games, um, and it's been a rough go. Some of the games that they had were kind of strange in nature. Like for example, the Boston Celtic game was them going really cold from behind the arc, and of course you run into the Boston Celtics and don't shoot well, you're gonna lose. Their defense was stifling, and it was just kind of a wash for them, the Miami Heat. Plus Jimmy didn't play, so that made it even worse. Excuse me, but all in all, that was the last game they played. Before that, they had two games against the Toronto Raptors. One of them went their way. I think it was a situation where they won at home, um, in a close game, and then went to Toronto for the next one and lost. The home game that they won was a tournament game, so I'm sure they would rather have that one, but they did ultimately split it. Um, and then they had to deal with just the interior scoring of the Toronto Raptors, the transition offense of the Toronto Raptors. We know how it is. We've played them twice already, so that's tough for any team to go up against. Um, they've also lost to the Milwaukee Bucks early on, like maybe three games before that. I'm not going in order, but where they had the Bucks had a 20-point lead, and they found a way to cut it to like three. Actually, I think they ended up getting the lead at one point, but AJ Green ended up like shooting like three threes in a row or something like that down the stretch of the basketball game. I told Milwaukee to play AJ Green, but nevertheless, that's how they ended up losing that one after cutting that lead all the way down. But Dame had a terrific game in their building. If I mentioned that was tough. Dame, wants to play for the Heat, and so when he went back to play them this year, he really wanted to make a statement. And of course, Giannis wasn't on the floor, so you knew Dame was going to play well. So that just did not go their way. Um, they also had a very strange basketball game against the Charlotte Hornets. I think that one was actually after the Bucks game. I don't remember how it went in order, but LaMelo Ball attempted 23s, hit seven of them, and I think like Brandon Miller attempted like 13 threes. So that was one of those games where it's like Charlotte only decided to really use two people, um, and they were able to kind of beat the Charlotte Hornets on the road. So that went really well for them, winning by 3 points, I believe it was. So the Heat had just been up and down, man. I watched the highlights of them playing the Detroit, not Detroit. It was Dallas Mavericks, and they ran into a hot Kyrie, but ultimately were able to win that game, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they won that game, and it went pretty well for them. Jimmy was on the floor with his red cornrows and all of the madness that comes with Jimmy Butler being different. But all in all, this is a Miami Heat team that's just kind of been hot and cold, just like us, coming off a two-game losing streak. Struggling against some really tough teams, of course. And, I mean, it's one of those situations where both teams are kind of coming in even, to be honest with you. We're both kind of struggling in our own right. Obviously, the Lakers are struggling historically bad, but, I listened to some people talk about the Lakers last night and kind of made me feel a lot better about what overall we've been looking at. Listen to Jason Timpf kind of brought it all into a space where it was understandable. We started focusing on defense a bit more, let our offense kind of become a second backseat to what we were doing. And when you lean into your defense, as we often say with the Lakers, you can't have both on the floor at the same time. So if you're going to fix your defense, you end up punting your offense. If you're going to, lean into your offense, your team doesn't play any defense. It's just the nature of having one-way players with extreme strengths on one side or another of the game. So JJ's just learning the same stuff that Darvin already understood, and is handling it his own way. And you got to take into account the schedule as well, which has had us playing like 5 games in 7 nights, which even for me has been a bit much in regards to trying to keep up with it and doing homework and trying to live my own life, and then keeping up with these early game schedules. It's a bit much. I'm actually just as a person who talks to Lakers, I'm looking forward to the break that we're about to have. It's going to be like a 5-game break coming up after the Portland game on Monday, I think it is, or something like that. So we get like a 5-day break. They've implemented 2 games into our schedule, Laker fans, so we need to know that we're going to be playing the Minnesota Timberwolves again in Minnesota. We're going to fly up there for one night, just for one game. I know Bron hates that. He complained about something like that earlier in the season with Milwaukee, but yeah, that's going to be a thing. And then we're going to come back down here and play the Memphis Grizzlies here. Essentially, the 2 of the teams that we've played only 3 times on the schedule, we're going to get a 4th game to make up for the fact that we didn't make the play-in tournament. So these are the games that they're going to give us. So yeah, in Minnesota, I think on like the 13th or something like that, and then in here in LA against Memphis on like the 15th. So yeah, that's just been implemented last night, and that's what we'll be dealing with after the Portland game on the 8th. So you get about 5 days off, and then you go and start off those 2 games that they just implemented, and then come back. And if I'm not mistaken, get ready for a bunch of Sacramento games or something like that. It's kind of weird. But nevertheless, today we are going to be on the 3rd game of our road trip against the Miami Heat. And, you know, I think what I'm encouraged by is just understanding that Khalil Ware will not be coming off the bench creating all types of problems with his length. He's out tonight, and I think that really helps our situation, given that we're a little small out there right now. And, you know, of course, we got to deal with Bam Adebayo, who's one of the best defensive players on the planet. Got a triple-double in the last game against, who was it he played against? I think it was the Raptors, not the Boston Celtics, but the Raptors. He got a triple-double. So, you know, he's always played well against the Lakers, to be honest with you. He really does step up his game against us in a different kind of way, so we need to be ready for him. Jimmy Butler's a game-time decision. I'm not really sure what's wrong there, but, you know, we'll see if he suits up. If he's out there, he's out there. You know what I mean? Jimmy is Jimmy. And I don't remember exactly which game he went off in because I watched about 6 highlights, but it was one of those games where he really was jumping off the floor, dunking like crazy. He looked like 20-year-old Jimmy. So, you know, you never know what you're going to get from Jimmy, but you can definitely expect that he's going to be loud. He's going to make a lot of noise on both sides of the floor. And if he's hitting shots, he's one of the best players in the world. So we understand that Jimmy is still a star, and we got to deal with him. Tyler Hero's been really hot lately. In fact, he was the one that saved him in the Milwaukee game. Not Milwaukee. Which game was that? Toronto? Who knows? I saw so much of the Miami Heat. I forget which game it was, but he did save them. I think it was actually the Charlotte game where he came down there and hit the game-winning 3 after some big shots were hit or something like that. So you just got to, you know, understand that Tyler Hero's in rare form. He's one of the best shooters in the NBA right now. He's really, really wiggly, moves around with the best of them, can dribble the ball. You know, he's a tyrant out there on the offensive end. He can get assists. He rebounds the ball fairly well. Really, really hard to keep up with. I don't know who the hell's standing in front of him on our team, to be honest with you. I don't see a player who can guard Tyler Hero right now on our team. We could probably throw a lot of Max Christie at him, maybe some Cam Reddish. Austin Reeves is a game-time decision. Hopefully we get Austin back. We certainly saw what we look like without him, and it was not pretty against Minnesota. We lost by 29 in that last game, which was one of the most embarrassing games we've had in years. As if we haven't had plenty of embarrassing games this year, but that one was like a new low. 80 points scored, the lowest point total scored in the LeBron and AD era. So, you know, we played awful. We know it. And that's just what it is. 21 turnovers. I mean, we were absolutely ridiculous in that game. But hopefully we can kind of right the wrong against a Miami Heat team that, you know, is kind of struggling themselves. But they do have a lot of players that can create problems for us. As I mentioned, Tyler Hero. They've been playing Hayward Highsmith a lot. Jaime Jaquez you got to deal with. Of course, we know Jaime from the West. We had a chance to draft him. We didn't. And he's a big-bodied dude. Reminds me of a poor man's Paul Pierce. He's really good from the mid-range. He's getting in better shape, so he's spinning off of people and rebounding the ball. He's going to be a handful tonight. So if we're not ready for Jaime Jaquez, we're fooling ourselves. Alec Burks is on this team shooting pretty well off the bench. So, you know, Kevin Love's been on this team for the last couple of years, kind of just hitting shots and rebounding the ball, just allowing this game to age gracefully. He's a game-time decision, but against Bron, I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the floor. So look out for him trying to stretch the floor for the team in Miami. And what else, man? They got a lot of stuff down there in Miami to pay attention to. Um, they're not a bad turnover team, so you can expect them to take care of the basketball. If we keep turning the ball over against them, it could be a problem. They're a pretty good defensive team. In fact, they're a top 5 in points allowed in the league. So we need to be aware that their defense really does speak for them a lot of the time. And with Bam out there and Jimmy out there, that's not surprising. They've been using Terry Rozier off the bench. Scary Terry's always somebody you look at and say he can have a big game. He's capable of putting up all-star numbers. Sometimes he's inefficient, but he's found his role on this team, and he's somebody that you got to deal with consistently if healthy, and he is not on the injury report. So be ready for Scary Terry. He can always light you up. Very streaky, very energetic. Also plays some defense. This is a Miami team that we got to be ready for them. At the end of the day, they're itching for a get-right game. And with the Lakers struggling as bad as we are, maybe they view us coming into their building as that, which is dangerous for us because we don't need teams feeling that confident going against us at all, especially when they're below 500, which I believe Miami may be. So, are they below 500? Yeah, I think they are. I think they're like 8-9 or something like that. We are at this point 9-12. I believe we're stuck in the 9th spot for now. If we keep losing games, we will definitely fall further. So, Laker Nation, between us and Golden State, it's been phenomenal seeing these two teams fall off over the last 2 weeks. It's been bad for both of these teams, and we just got to get our act together, man. That's what it really comes down to. Hopefully, we're getting Austin Reeves will help. Back rather helps. D'Angelo Russell snapping out of his slump should help as well, and we just really got to figure out our offense, man. Feeding Anthony Davis makes so much more sense. And listening to Jason Timpf, he was essentially saying that since focusing on our defense, we've shifted everything to kind of running things through LeBron James, and with him being in an historic slump, we're kind of living and dying, mainly dying, with the production that he's providing. And so we need to get back into getting the ball to Anthony Davis. It should not be that difficult of a thing to do. I don't know why our team has such a hard time getting him the ball. And I don't know why after years and years of this problem, he still hasn't been the type of person to demand the ball. That's really the criticism of the guy. He just needs to remind people that he's not getting touches, and demand the basketball because we're most efficient when he's scoring the buckets. That's really what it comes down to. I don't understand why Anthony Davis is so comfortable walking away with like 15 points in a basketball game. This team loses by 29. He should have a problem with that, and he should make his voice heard. I understand you're on the team with LeBron James, but at this point in time, LeBron James needs to allow Anthony Davis to be the number one on the team. There's no way around it. The King is getting older, and he's tired, and maybe Anthony Davis is tired too, but we need Anthony Davis to be significantly more impactful on the offensive end if we want to have a chance against these teams that we're going against, especially good teams. And I don't know if you constitute the Miami Heat as a good team, but I can tell you we haven't beaten any good teams as of late, and that is something that is embarrassing when you consider who we have, LeBron and AD, on this team. So I understand we have some roster issues. I understand players going in and out of the lineup. I understand the players are one way, and we've been leaning on some guys that have different types of strengths. All of that is fine. But at the end of the day, we have to find a way to compete on both sides of the floor, regardless of who's on the floor. Riyad Tamora was 4 or 5 in the last game. If he's 4 out of 5, then he probably should be attempting 12 shots. What are we doing? Feed the hot hand. AD needs more touches. Rui needs more touches. And hopefully Dalton Connect can snap out of his funk. We talk about teams that passed on Dalton Connect in the draft. Here's one. Miami had a chance to draft him. They didn't. They took Khalil Ware, and I understand the Miami Heat might have been a team that was interested in maybe picking up Dalton Connect. Maybe if he had fallen to them, they were considering, but they decided to go in a different direction. And Dalton Connect should take that personally. Any team that passed on him and made it so that he had to fall to 17 is a team that he should probably have circled on his crosshairs to want to fight every time he sees him. And so that's the type of chip on his shoulder that we need him to have tonight, especially coming off a couple games where he couldn't get a shot going at all. So we know what type of shooter he is. We know we're better when he's getting buckets from behind the arc and moving around without the basketball and putting himself in position to score. And that's exactly what we need him to do tonight against a Miami Heat team that has players to do the same thing. If he's hot, it certainly gives us a much better chance of being able to match the Miami Heat, who are really not the best offensive team historically. They've gotten a little better at that, but they're not known for putting up 150 points or nothing like that. So we need to get our offense together against a good defensive team, and we need to respect what Miami is bringing to the table tonight. Um, Tyler Hero, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for 30 and 8. That's a really good player there. All-star level guy. I don't think he's made an all-star team yet. This might be the year because he is really playing some fantastic ball. And so he's one of the main constants out there offensively for them. And if they're going to get points, it's going to come from him a lot of the time. So we need to be ready for him, Scary Terry, Duncan Robinson, who's been cold lately, really cold lately. As a matter of fact, he was ice cold against the Boston Celtics. And I don't expect for that to continue for much longer, especially at home against a not-so-great perimeter defensive team like the Lakers. If he gets his act together tonight, it could be a long night for us. So keep an eye open for Duncan Robinson. Obviously, he's a talented shooter, but kind of in a slump at the moment. So, yeah, man, these are things I've been paying attention to. Crash the glass. Bam Adebayo is definitely going to crash it. Jaime Hawkins is going to crash it. Hunter Highsmith is going to crash it. So be ready for these type of guys, man. They got a lot of energy. Jimmy can get boards. We know that. All of their players can rebound the ball pretty well. They're not a great rebounding team, but from player to player, you see that as a strength rather than a weakness. So I think the Lakers should be intentional on crashing the glass. Long shot, long board. It's one of the biggest pet peeves I have with this team this year is that they don't rebound the three ball well at all. Team to give up offensive rebounds off of missed 3-point shots, consistently being too close to the rim. We need to anticipate shots flying off of the rim behind 20 feet. It's just what happens when people shoot threes. And I just think we've done an awful job this year in that regard. So, yeah, these are things I'm talking about, man. Turnovers. Bron had, 6 turnovers in the last one, 3 turnovers in the one before that. We need him to have under 3 turnovers, man. So we need him to take care of the basketball. That's what it really comes down to. We need LeBron James to take care of the basketball. Maybe the 3 ball falls, maybe it doesn't. But some of these jumping in the air, passing into crowd plays don't need to be taken. Simplify your game, especially when you're struggling. You know what I mean? The last thing you need to be doing is stuff like that when your accuracy is off for whatever reason, when your rhythm is off for whatever reason. Stay down, keep your dribble alive, and make passes that way. We don't need him jumping in the air and then twisting and trying to find somebody. Those are turnovers most of the time. Those are things that are not necessary at all. He needs to shore that up for us. You know what I mean? And if the 3 ball falls, it falls, man. He said he trusts his work. That's all you can do. Is when you're in a slump, shoot your way through it. Shoot your way out of it and get as much rest as possible. If you're dealing with an injury, rest. Don't be afraid to rest because that may be your way out of your slump. You know what I mean? Some days off. And so I wouldn't be upset if LeBron misses this game, although I don't expect he will. I think it's probably in his best interest to try to take some time off at some point during the next couple of games. Not waiting until after the Portland game to take a game off. I think he should take one of the games off. He should probably take the Portland game off, actually. We should plan that already. So these are the type of things I'm just thinking about, man. I know the Lakers have had struggles against good teams. I know how much coming into Miami playing well and winning means to LeBron James, but quite honestly, we don't really win in Miami too much, man, since LeBron's been here. I think we're probably like 500 in this building. So that's not a good thing. We need to figure it out. The Lakers will be wearing their yellow uniforms tonight. The Miami Heat will be wearing their road blacks. I don't know what their floor looks like. Probably traditional floor that they usually have. And the game is at 4:30 Pacific. Early game, 7:30 Eastern, if I didn't mention that already. Not pleased about that at all. But it is what it is, man. Every game is early. Our next game is on Friday after that at 4:30 against the Hawks in Atlanta, where we'll be completing our road trip. So it's a nightmare. I hate early games. I really want the NBA schedulers to stop having us play so many early games back to back, clustered together. It's a nightmare to start the season for us. I really am unhappy with the schedule makers this year. I haven't liked much of anything about the schedule this year. This is like one of the especially poor schedule creations, man. So we talked a little bit about it. I'm not gonna get into it any further, but I'm not happy with them. So yeah, man, that's pretty much my thought on that, though. The Lakers really need to bounce back, man. I don't think we can play much worse. That's the good news. We went into Minnesota and played our worst basketball. So if we're gonna continue playing like that, we'll definitely continue to lose like that. But I just don't see us playing that poorly tonight. Not that poor. And we do have to get our offense together. But I think if we get Austin Reeves back, he's going to chuck up a million shots one way or another. We know Austin at this point. He don't have no conscience. I would like for him to be more of a facilitator. But until he figures out how to do that for himself while feeling comfortable about his shot selection, we're always going to live with him taking like 17 shots and maybe making like 6 of them, 7 of them. It's just Inefficiency is what comes with our guy there, man. But one thing's for sure, we could have sure used his aggression in that last one because no one else had any damn energy at all on either side of the floor. So hopefully Austin will be ready to come back and give us what he has, and hopefully he's efficient tonight. D'Lo, like I said, he was the only player that really played well in the last game. Hopefully he can continue working his way through his slump or getting out of that slump. And if we can get really good D'Lo, that'll be right on time for us because we could certainly use it, especially while Bron is struggling. But you never know with LeBron James. You know, with all the chatter about Bron being done and in the slump and all these different things, at any given moment he could snap out of that slump and play an amazing basketball game. I would not be surprised if he went for 38, 10, and 12 tonight. Like he's a great player. He's already proven that. I don't think most of his game is predicated on any one thing. So for him, it's like if his shot is not falling, he can still get a lot of assists. He just needs to shore up the turnovers. You know, he can still crash the glass. You know what I mean? He can still get to the line and bully people back to the basket, fadeaway jumpers. I think his mid-range jumper has actually been falling. I did hear someone say that they didn't see it falling, but for me, it looks like it's been falling consistently throughout the course of the slump. His mid-range 10-footer, 15-footer, it seems to be falling to me. That's not where the slump is. It's in other areas, particularly from behind the arc. So, yeah, man, I'm looking for LeBron James to come back down in Miami and have a much better game than he's been having, man. He's comfortable in that building. He's got a lot of fans in that building. He's won championships in that building. And this is a prideful moment. I don't know how many times he's going to be coming back to Miami. So if anywhere he's going to snap out of his slump on this road trip, it's definitely in this building tonight. And I'm just poised to see a better Bron. I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm be surprised if he continues to struggle because he's in a historic slump. But I just think that this is the type of game that you might see LeBron have a bit more confidence than he's been showing over the last 10 games or so. So hopefully that happens, man. I'm showing more optimism than maybe a lot of people are, but I don't think LeBron is done. I don't think what I see is a guy that's done. What I see is a guy that's kind of checked out with other stuff on his mind and maybe somebody dealing with a rib injury that no one's talking about. But I don't think that he's done or that his body's not going to be able to react well going forward. He's just going to need the rest. And that after Portland, he will get it. So looking forward to that, man. I'm telling you, 3 games over the next couple of nights, and then we will have 5 days off. So our team should be able to get healthy, hopefully. And you know who I'm waiting for an update on Christian Wood at this point. Where are we at with Christian? We know what's going on with Vanderbilt. He's not expected to return until early January, which in my opinion means not at all. Just being honest with you, I don't expect him to come back at all. But nevertheless, that is what it is. I know there's some controversy surrounding this situation. Rumors, not rumors, but a posted and deleted tweet that said false after the report of his injury update was released. I don't know what's going on with Vanderbilt. He seems to be disgruntled at this point. So are we, fam. If I'm being completely honest with you, you've been out for a whole year, bro. I don't know who you mad at, but I hope it ain't us. That's all I gotta say, because we ain't really feeling no energy from Vanderbilt. You ain't suit up for us since freaking Boston, bro. Like literally. If you won't be gone, trust me. We want you gone too. That's how I feel. I ain't speaking for nobody else. I speak for myself. I'm ready to trade your ass. So if you mad at the Lakers for not being patient with you, believe me, we've been more than patient with you. If you mad at the organization, then forget what I said. You know what I'm saying? If they doing something behind the scenes they ain't got no business doing, forget what I said. But as far as our frustration, you're a myth at this point, and one that we need rather badly to do what it is he does. So that's how I feel about Vanderbilt, man. I am tired. Vanderbilt seems to be tired. It's time for a breakup, man. Anytime y'all want to make that trade, you have my full support. Let's do that. I heard some rumor about Jordan Poole. I think Jordan Poole's playing fantastic ball right now. I'm not so sure about his consistency. He's the type of dude who can have an 0 for 30 night and be horrible. He's also a guy who can lead the league in steals, even though people don't even realize that. He has been playing all-star level ball a good portion of the time for a bad team. I think it's a great time to pick up Jordan Poole. He's only going to get better over the next 3 years. $30 million a year for his contract. He's going to have nights where you hate him, but he's going to have nights where he's amazing. Upgrade from D'Lo in certain areas. Length and athleticism and speed. So if anybody wonders if I'm on board with bringing in Jordan Poole, I actually am. I am. And I know I'll probably regret it on certain nights, but he's already won a championship, so you know he can do that. And he's starting to really play great ball, and nobody's paying attention. I am. So, yeah, it's time to pick him up. $30 million a year, he'll play that up if he stays healthy. He doesn't really tend to have real injury issues. I think he has some terrible habits, so he can be a bit risky. But if you're moving trash to get him, you're going to be happy you got him. He could be the type of piece that brings you over the top, especially when he starts getting in his bag. And so as he continues to mature, that contract's only going to look better and better, you know? So a lot of people are like, why the hell would you say yes to him and not Zach LaVine? $20 million difference in the contract. That's the difference. I'd rather have Zach LaVine, the player, not the contract. But $30 million for Jordan Poole over the next several years, for a team that just needs to figure out what they're going to do for the next several years in terms of scoring and defense. I think Jordan Poole is in experience. He has all of those things. So if the Lakers are interested in picking up Jordan Poole for the right price, I ain't giving up no picks for that player. But for a salary match, yeah, we got the players that we can move to make that an upgrade for us, a dramatic upgrade if he's playing his best ball. And so, yes, bring in the three-point shooter, bring in the guy that's leading the league in steals, bring in the guy that ultimately can make us absolutely insane with his checking out and weird behavior and stuff like that. I think that as he matures, he's going to become somebody that people thought he was going to be. That's what I say. So this is the time to pick up a player like that. It is the time to go after him. So yeah, I'm signing off on Jordan Poole, man. I know. But I also know, and that's why I'm saying this. So yeah, that's what I have to say. I would much rather have Jordan Poole than some of the other stuff on the Washington bench that they want us to have, like Valanciunas for 2 second-round picks. I don't care about that. That doesn't move me. I need an overall talent lift. We need somebody that can kind of step in and give us 40 points while Bron is in a slump. You understand what I'm saying? That's what you need. You need some speed. And Jordan Poole provides that. He provides both. So that's just a side note, man. I wish he was on a $20 million contract and make up for some of them bad nights that he's going to have. But, Golden State paid him a lot, and that contract is starting to mature. So that's not bad, I guess. So that's really what I want to say, man. If that rumor is true, and if that's the only trade that we can make without having to give up picks, I think we'll be happy to have him on his best nights. We'll be ecstatic to have him. That's the truth. So that's my take on things, man. Do a little homework on the Miami Heat before going into this game. That's what I tell people, because the Miami Heat are a team that a lot of Laker fans are not paying attention to right now. They've flown a lot under my radar, and I just know at this point, after doing homework on them, that they play hard. They play hard. They got Jordan Poole's doppelganger over there in what's his face? Tyler Hero. And, they have dangerous talent. Jaime Hawk is a Laker favorite. They got talent over there. Jimmy, Bam, definitely going to get some stops tonight. So if we're having a tough night turning the ball over, or if we're not hitting shots, this could be another 80-point game, literally. So, yeah, be ready for that, man. That's really what I got to say. I'm going to finish doing laundry here, eat some breakfast, listen back to this video, hopefully overcome for this headache that I got in my head right now. But ultimately, I'm ready for the game at 4:30. And I'm also ready for the Lakers to make a trade, man. I am. I'm ready for a trade. I don't know if the market's ready to give us a fair trade, which is why I'm signing off on Jordan Poole. If I thought we had better options or more plentiful options, I'd probably sign off on that. But I think Jordan Poole's probably the best rumor I've heard. Probably the best rumor I've heard in terms of us increasing our talent level dramatically. He's the best one I've heard. I know people want a center really bad, but these centers ain't worth it, bro. Not if we have to give up picks. They're not worth it. I think Walker Kessler could potentially be somebody we're extremely happy to have. But if I got to give up 2 picks to get him just so Danny Ainge can continue hoarding picks, I'm going to have to say no. You know what I'm saying? That's what it really comes down to. But a young player like Jordan, who's already won a championship, who can score like crazy, who's doing all types of stuff defensively that no one's paying attention to, hell yeah, give me him. Give me him now. And he's going to play his best ball in our uniform. That's what I see coming. So that's pretty much what I got to say about that, man. Heat tonight, 4:30. Be ready. BDO 44. Thank you all for watching. Now.